Hello, welcome back. Thank you, as always, for joining me today. We're continuing through chapter 19, section 4 of the text of A Course in Miracles. And these are the obstacles to peace, obstacles that we ourselves have placed in the way of peace flowing out naturally from us. It actually is who we are, yet we've placed many, many barriers in the way. As a result of placing these barriers in the way, we experience ourselves as, well, not peaceful. Sometimes peaceful, but the next moment, not at all. And we suffer. We suffer a sense of grief, lack, scarcity and loss, depression, sadness, separation, rife competition with our brother, whom we're convinced is out to get our illusory social status, which is a mere idea. But he's going to take it away from us. She's going to get our stuff. And we live in a near constant state of heightened paranoia, which is not very flattering. It's why we're all on the spiritual path, because at some point we've all said, there's got to be a better way. Enough. I'm over it. At whatever point that was for you, you're here, you're interested in this. So let's continue this discussion about these obstacles because, and this is very, very important, we have placed them, we can remove them. All of them, including this last one, the fear of God. Hmm. Now, to recap the obstacles, and as the Course describes it, these are barriers or obstacles that peace must flow through or across or around that we've put up. In other words, they're blockades. And there are four main barriers or obstacles, blockades. You can call it a wall, you can call it a veil, or a layer of a veil, or whatever you want to call it. The first of these is our desire to get rid of peace, the thing that we all deep down want. We also, and weirdly enough, want to get rid of it. Why? Because we're so attached to our false sense of individual self. In other words, the ego. We've listened to this voice yammering in our ear from time immemorial. And if you don't go in for that for this lifetime, separation, separation, separation. You're a separate, individual, self-sustaining survival unit, an individual human being, along with all the other 8 billion plus individual human beings in competition for scarce, limited resources on a wild, wobbling, spinning ball of rock, hurtling through this weird illusion that we call space. It may seem dramatic to hear it described in that way, but do we not need this description? We, we do. We do. That's the first obstacle is our desire to get rid of what we all really want. We're torn. Ever feel torn? Hmm. The second obstacle is the belief that the physical body has value for what it offers in and of itself. You're not a body. You're spirit. You're not a physical body, which you know deep down, or you would not be interested in this thing that we refer to as spirituality. And it, of course, appears that there are billions of people in the world who are not at all interested in this, but you are. That's really huge. Yeah. The third obstacle is the attraction of death, which we fear. And we're drawn to strangely. It's a moth to a flame style of drawn to when you really think about it. And the fourth and final obstacle that peace must flow across is the fear of God, the last veil. So, having come this far, there's one veil left, and it looks particularly bleak, dark and heavy. Yet you've, at this point, gone past the other three. How have you gone past the other three? By the attraction of what lies beyond, who you really are, our perfect oneness, love, God, our perfect oneness with our Father, our Creator. God's the Creator, we're the Son of God, the creation, the created. Like extends like. It does not extend unlike itself, it extends itself. God extends himself, love extends himself. This is the draw from beyond the veil that enables us to go past each of these obstacles, recognize them for what they are, nothing, and set them all gently to the side, or they simply disappear. How do we go past the obstacles? Well, it's the attraction of what lies beyond. Now, the fear of God has a lot of context and meaning in many societies where you perhaps were raised, if not, many people were, with the fear of God as a badge of honor, an identification as a God-fearing individual. Well, what's wrong with this picture? Well, let's start with the moniker individual. There is no separation of any kind. God, perfect love, is not fearful. It's not to be feared. God's not a separate being, such as the Greek gods on Olympus, looking down at humanity from on high and messing with us in their superiority, making some people's lives very difficult, sleeping with others, and currying favor all over the place, fighting with each other, and playing with these little human beings down here on this wobbling, spinning ball of rock. Perhaps you were raised to think of God as separate from you. He is not. How can I say this? How can this course say this? Unequivocally, God is the only reality. God is. Not a separate being from you. This that we appear to experience here in the world with this thing running around and stuff is a dream. It is an illusion. And if you prefer to call enlightenment awakening, that is 100% appropriate. It's a very good term and descriptor. We're waking up from a dream. Fear of God is not a badge of honor. Why would you be afraid of perfect love? Perfect love knows no limits, no separation of any kind. It does not condemn. It's love, not hatred. It does not judge. It does not differentiate at all. Why fear this? This is where, especially if you were raised in a religious or spiritual tradition where people say that they're God-fearing, and that's supposed to be an empowering declaration. It's supposed to be a good thing. This is where A Course in Miracles looks really different. It is. It is. What's more likely to be true? That perfect love knows no boundaries and is all-encompassing. In other words, every single one of us is part of this whole and included in the whole and the whole itself. Is that more likely, or is it more likely that God punishes us? Is the image of the Greek gods on Olympus throwing thunderbolts, ruining some people's crops here, and loving somebody here, and condemning somebody here? Is that more likely? Or is it more likely that love is love? It extends itself. Which is more likely? And of course, it's up to you to decide that. And you could, with your free will and 100% free power of decision in the present moment, choose separation. You could. You could listen to this conversation, watch this video with this pixelated image on your screen, constellated in the form of a middle-aged man from Arizona, which is what you're looking at after all. You could think this image is full of it. You could think this course is full of it and flat wrong. That's up to you. And whether you do or don't go in for this message is up to you. Who else is going to decide? Because our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit, does not force us. Yeah, our inner teacher knows what's best for us, but he's not going to force us. He's not going to drag us kicking and screaming across the threshold, so to speak, to awakening, nor wave a magic wand or anything like that. May seem inconvenient, but we do have to do the work here. In fact, it's a very kind thing for our inner teacher to do, to wait patiently for us to change our mind and to rush in and help us, because it wouldn't be doing us any services at all to wave a magic wand or do an Obi-Wan Kenobi Jedi mind trick and make us enlightened. What would we learn from that? Very little. This is the way that you awaken. Is this the only tradition that leads to awakening? No, they all do. All doors lead to the same place in the end. God. Why? God is the only reality. Where else would they lead? Now, the path could be long, it could be convoluted, or it could be as short and instantaneous as you want it to. You have that power. We're fond of giving away our power in the world and thinking we're the victim of the world we see. We're not. We made it. The world's coming from you, not at you, from you. There's tremendous power in this, as wild or as far out or fanciful as it may seem. It's not how we were conditioned. We think of this as home. It's not our home. It's nothing. There is no world. The central teaching of A Course in Miracles. Therefore, the central teaching of these videos, right? along the way, it's quite natural to think about all of this and think, oh man, this is really different. Well, yes, you're here, you're drawn to this material for some reason. And that's the case whether you're a long-standing course student or a beginning course student or anything in between, or whether you're a student of A Course in Miracles at all. You don't have to be. What we're looking at here is a self-study curriculum that we undertake under the guidance of what I'm referring to throughout as our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit or Jesus, or call it whatever you want to call it. I mean, call it by multiple names and refer to it as your board of directors if you want to. They're all just names. This is part of our mind, inner teacher. So we undertake this course under the guidance of our inner teacher. We allow ourselves to be led as far as we're willing to go on a given day. And then we get up tomorrow and we do it all again. We allow ourselves to be led as far as we're willing to go on the next day. And along the way, we set the veil aside. We peel it back, so to speak. There's no reason to fear anything at all, least of all God, perfect love, perfect oneness. There's no judgment in perfect oneness, only love. What's to fear? Nothing. Nothing. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. And questions are most welcome. If you've got them, please feel welcome to leave them. And also, if there are particular subjects or topics here that are coming up for you live, I'm very interested to know what those are because I'm more than happy to record a standalone video or series, if need be, of standalone videos about a topic that's coming up for you live. So these are intended to inspire you to practice and to answer questions if you have them. So please feel welcome to leave them here. If you have not yet subscribed, I'd love to have you join us here. And that's the prompt here over in the corner of your screen. Just click that. You'll be invited to join us. And we have several videos a week as we go through the text of A Course in Miracles. Again, I'm always, always more than willing to take a pause and to answer questions because they're going to arise. We don't see things as they really are. This course will help us to see them as they really are. Once we do, I mean, totally 100% do, truth dawns of itself. That is what we call awakening. All right. Thank you, as always, for joining me.